The tension had been brewing for years, woven into every headline, every blog post, and every whispered conversation in quiet corners. It wasn't just gossip, it was a storm that followed Melody wherever she went. The betrayal wasn't only personal, it had been played out in public, dissected and analyzed by strangers who felt entitled to her pain. She had heard the name Arionne Curry more times than she could count, and each mention was a reminder of what had been taken from her. But today, the narrative shifted. Today, the two women were in the same place, at the same time, with no screens or miles between them. The door opened, and Melody stepped inside. She moved like a woman who had walked through fire and emerged with her crown intact. Every step was measured, her posture unshaken. The air seemed to change as she entered. Voices faded, movements slowed. She didn't need to demand attention. Her presence commanded it naturally. She scanned the room, and her eyes quickly locked on Arionne. Arionne sat at a table near the center, her body angled slightly toward the door as though she had been expecting this moment. She wore a faint smirk, a mask of composure, but her eyes betrayed her. They flickered with the smallest hint of uncertainty, a crack in the armor. Her fingers drummed lightly against the table, subtle but telling. Melody walked straight toward her, heels clicking in perfect rhythm against the floor. She didn't look left or right. There was only one destination. She stopped just a few feet away, her eyes unblinking. When she spoke, her voice was calm, yet carried the weight of every wound, every betrayal, and every triumph she had endured. "You'll never be me," she began, the words slow and deliberate. "You can wear my style, you can study my words, you can even try to mimic my walk, but you will never carry my spirit, my scars, or my strength. You don't know the battles I've fought. You don't know the nights I've cried in silence, holding my family together with every ounce of strength I had left. You can't take what you never earned." The room went silent. Even the faint hum of background chatter disappeared. Melody's words cut through the air like a blade. She didn't raise her voice, but there was an undeniable power in her tone. She spoke about the years of loyalty she had given, the countless sacrifices made for the sake of her marriage and children, the patience it took to remain graceful while her life became public entertainment. "Loyalty," she said firmly, "isn't something you can borrow. Integrity isn't a costume you can put on when it suits you. These are things you live day by day, through pain and through joy." Arionne shifted in her seat, crossing her arms tighter, but Melody wasn't finished. She took a step closer, her voice steady. "You entered my life uninvited. You thought you could wear my crown, but crowns aren't stolen, they're earned. And this one," she gestured lightly toward her head, "is heavy. It was forged through years of trials that would break someone without the will to endure. You cannot carry this weight because you have never walked my path." The statement hung in the air, unchallenged. Arionne opened her mouth as if to respond, but her voice never came. Melody continued, describing how she had rebuilt herself after betrayal, turning pain into fuel, refusing to let bitterness poison her growth. She spoke of finding joy again, of reclaiming her identity, and of standing stronger than ever before. "I am not defined by what happened to me," she said. "I am defined by how I rose above it, and that's why you'll never be me, because you can't rise from a fire you never had the courage to walk through." Some in the room exchanged glances. Others simply stared, transfixed by the intensity of the exchange. This wasn't just a confrontation. It was closure. Melody's words weren't meant to humiliate, but to end a chapter that had weighed on her for too long. Finally, Melody straightened her posture even more, her gaze locked on Arionne one last time. "This is the last time I'll speak on this," she said, her tone final. You have your story, and I have mine. But only one of us lived with truth, and that will always be the difference. Without waiting for a reply, she turned and walked toward the door. Each step away felt like a victory, not because she had won a fight, but because she had spoken her truth without losing herself in the process. As the door closed behind her, the silence in the room remained. People would talk about what they had just seen, some siding one way, some the other, but it didn't matter. The truth had been spoken, and it couldn't be taken back. Melody had entered the room carrying the weight of her past, but she left carrying only her dignity, and that was something no one could ever take from her.